Hello everyone, good evening. Once again, this One More Sunday is here. So we are here to talk on one more topic on our career growth series. Do you know this is the 35th edition of our weekly series on this particular subject, which is related to career growth. So I'd like to welcome all of you on today's occasion, today's particular session that we are going to have the discussion on. I'm sure that you are a person who wants to grow in your career, and that is the reason you are here. Whether you watch this particular session live or you watch the recordings of this session, just to reiterate, the main intention of this session is to bring topics which are related to your career, topics which will help you to grow in your career by utilizing that particular content on which we'll be talking about. It might happen that this particular content you are already aware of, you are already master. But through this session, the intention of the session is to remind you constantly that what are the things which are important in your career? What are the things which will make you a better executive? And when you concentrate and focus on those traits, on those qualities, on those skills, I'm sure the journey towards your career success will become faster. So that's the intention. So once again, friends, my name is 𝗘𝗳𝗬𝗃𝗲𝗏𝗏. I'm an IITD certified trainer and an ICF certified coach. Now, I basically take interest on the executive coaching and the career coaching. So if you are someone who is looking forward to grow in your career, to grow in your profession, here is something that I love to work with this kind of people. With the same intention, every Sunday I come live on Facebook and on YouTube and try to bring in topics which can help you accelerating your journey towards your career success. So with that, we will try to come slowly to the topic that we want to discuss today. And as said always, इस सेशन को हम लोग हिंदी एंड इंग्लिश दोनों लैंग्वेज में डिलीवर करने का कोशिश करेंगे. आई एम नॉट अ वेरी गुड इन either of the languages, but I will try my level best to make meaning of and what exactly I'm trying to talk to you. So I'll give my best effort in that. So as I always say is, in case you have any comments to share, in case you have an experience to share with everyone, come forward, put in your comment on the comment section, and then I will show it up here. And we will have a small discussion on the comment or any particular point that you want to bring in as your own perspective. तो आगे जाके उसको शेयर कीजिए and then हम लोग उसके बारे में बात करेंगे. Now आज का जो टॉपिक है उसमें आने से पहले कुछ questions, because आज का टॉपिक में हम लोग we are going to talk about stakeholders in your workplace. So सबसे पहले ये जानना जरूरी है कि डू यू रियली नो हु आर योर स्टेक होल्डर्स एट वर्क प्लेस. आपके जॉब में, आपके वर्क प्लेस में आपके स्टेक होल्डर्स कौन कौन है. Now, the term stakeholder, what is the meaning of the term stakeholder? Stakeholder एक ऐसा term है जिसके जरिए what we try to tell, what we try to make understand is people or groups of people who gets affected through what you do and through what your organization does. What you do and what your organization does. This set of people, it can be an individual, it can be a group of people, they get impacted. And that impact can be positive, sometimes it can be negative also. So they are called stakeholders for your organization and possibly for you as an individual employee in that organization. Do you know their importance in your career growth? Do you know that what kind of importance, what kind of role ये stakeholder play करते हैं आपके career के growth के लिए? ये जानना जरूरी है before we get into this particular topic. And who are those stakeholders? Generally, when we talk about stakeholders, as a few set of people who fall into that particular category. Now, this set of people can be these people, the employees of the organization, the suppliers to your organization, the customers for your organization, and obviously the society at large. आपके कंपनी एक सोसाइटी का ही हिस्सा है जिस सोसाइटी में आप भी रहते हो. So your organization, whatever activities the organization does, somewhere those impact the society at large. So they are also stakeholders of whatever business your company is in. And as a part of that business, as an employee, as a professional, you also become a part of that particular ecosystem. So that, in a nutshell, is the meaning of stakeholders. Let's actually get into better understanding कि ये stakeholder के बारे में जानना क्यों जरूरी है और ये stakeholder किस तरह से आपके मेरे profession को impact करते हैं. So I'll actually talk about a few stories to make the point clear. And सबसे बढ़िया स्टोरी क्या होता है अगर खुद का स्टोरी के बारे में कुछ बात कर सकें. So I'll be telling you my story, and it happened like this many years back. I was made responsible in one of the organizations that I worked to deal with a few government employees, government officers. And these government officers were very important for getting approvals on certain aspects of my business. Now, I was a newcomer in the job market. Honestly speaking, I did not have any previous experience of dealing with government employees, government officers, those bureaucrats. And मेरे को जब ये responsibility दिया गया था, I was afraid of this, honestly speaking. मेरे को ना डर लगता था उन लोगों के पास जाके, because the type of bureaucrats that I was supposed to meet, they were difficult to approach. हमेशा थोड़ा सा serious जैसे रहते थे, and कभी भी आप मिलने जाओ आपको बहुत सारे tables के through जाना पड़ता था उनके पास. So I'm sure you understand what do I mean. And in the process, somewhere there was an internal clash that I had to face. That internal clash was so difficult for me that I could not able to actually maintain the relationship, the business relationship that I was supposed to maintain with those government officials. And as a result, well, it impacted my career at that point, because my organization thought that I'm not fit for that activity, which requires dealing with these people. And they told me that, Ridhiman, you're not fit for this activity, we'll give you something else. So that was a failure story for me, a real life experience in my career, wherein because I could not able to manage these stakeholders properly, it impacted my career at that point. Possibly if I could have able to manage these stakeholders better, शायद मेरे को मैनेजमेंट से एप्रिसिएशन मिलता, शायद मेरे को प्रमोशन भी मिल जाता, जो मैं नहीं कर पाया. That was my story. Do you have similar kind of story? If it is there, then दो तीन शब्दों में you can put it on the comment section. Now there is another story which I don't want to name that person. So one of my known person in Bangalore. So this particular lady, she was actually working in a manufacturing company, and she had a very good experience. She had a very long experience of working in that particular role that she was performing in that organization. But however, she struggled to manage the conflict with the suppliers to the organization. There was a conflict with the supplier. Supplier के साथ कुछ तो conflict हो गया. Now ये manufacturing company के लिए supplier बहुत important होते हैं because they supply the raw materials. अगर raw materials time से नहीं आएगा, then अगर अच्छे quality का नहीं होगा, right price पे नहीं होगा, then everything will get impacted, right? So this lady, although she had very good knowledge about the subject, she had very good experience about her work, but she could not able to maintain a proper relationship with the supplier. She could not able to manage the suppliers. And because of that, she could not able to sign a favorable contract on behalf of the organization. I'm not going deeper into that, but yes, जब भी आप contract sign करते हो supplier के साथ, there are certain aspects wherein the interest of the organization you need to protect. कभी कभी उस negotiation में अगर गलती हो जाता है, you end up protecting the interest of the supplier but not of your organization. And here to a certain extent it happened like that only. And because of that particular incidents, it impacted the cost of the product and the quality of the product. And therefore, this lady was actually given a demotion. Forget about any promotion. So that's another story wherein the person could not able to manage the stakeholder, and therefore it impacted her career. So there is another similar kind of story of one more person that I used to know. This person used to work in a bank, and the banks have to maintain a lot of regulations from the regulatory authorities. The government regulatory authorities are there. Now this person could not able to manage the regulators, and as a result of which there were regulatory errors that happened from the bank, and as a result this person was made responsible, and this person has had to resign from the job. So that is the extreme situation that can happen for not being able to manage your stakeholders. So friends, that is the reason I'm saying that this is a very, very important subject and very important topic for all of us. When we work in an organization, we are not alone. We are giving service to our customers. Our services, our products impact the society. We have to deal with stakeholders like our suppliers, and obviously the other employees who are working in the organization, all are stakeholders. So how do you manage those stakeholders has got a direct impact on your career growth. And that's the reason we are talking about this particular subject today. Isn't it important? What do you think? So as we said that today we are going to talk about 5 strategies or 5 ways that you can effectively manage your stakeholders at workplace. So we will talk about these strategies to help you, guide you properly. If you are that particular person who will have to manage your stakeholder, believe me, possibly the degree of management may be less or more, but most of the corporate employees have to manage some sort of stakeholder. जो भी role में आप हो, forget about that, I'm not a customer facing role, so I need not manage my customers. I'm not a supplier facing role, and therefore I need not manage my suppliers. To a certain extent, you have to deal with and you have to manage at least one or a few stakeholders in your corporate career. So therefore, pay attention to the points that we are discussing here. Even though you know these points already, consider these points as a reminder to the already known points. Okay, so the first thing that you need to do to manage your stakeholders is this. First of all, आपको आइडेंटिफाई करने हैं आपके stakeholders कौन कौन हैं for your organization and for the role that you are performing in the organization. Who are those people who are the stakeholders? For example, if you are in the sales department of the organization and you are day in, day out dealing with the customers, obviously your customers becomes the largest stakeholders in the process. Then whatever activity you do as a salesperson, you generate sales for the organization. You bring the sales in the form of customer orders to the organization. There are internal employees in the organization who help you punching those orders into the system. So those employees are also your stakeholders. When you sell your product in the market, when you talk about your product in the market, somewhere you are generating demand for your product, and the demand for your product may impact a particular human being in the society. So somehow the society at large is also your stakeholder. What may go wrong? Oh, yes, we will talk about that. But this is the first thing that you need to do. You need to, first of all, list down the people or the group of people who are your stakeholder. Make 2 lists. One is for the organization, and second is for you as an individual person working in that organization, performing a particular role. आपके stakeholders कौन कौन हैं? कंपनी के लिए भी आपके लिए जानना जरूरी है कि कंपनी के stakeholders कौन हैं, because you represent the organization. अगर आप नहीं जानोगे कि इस कंपनी के इस ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस के stakeholder कौन कौन है, हो सकता है आपसे कोई गलती हो सकता है, right? So that's why it's important for you to know. And then prioritize your stakeholders. Why we are saying this prioritization? Because you cannot spend your energy and time on all sets of stakeholders. Now, when we talk about, say, as a salesperson, your customers are your stakeholders. You might be having 100 customers that you cater to, but all those 100 customers may not be priority for you. Out of those 100 customers, it might happen that the 5 customers are giving you 90% of your revenue. So those 5 customers becomes your priority number 1 when you are identifying your stakeholder. So that's why prioritization is important, so that you know कि कहाँ पे आपको focus करना है. Second part of the strategy as a part of your stakeholder management is you need to establish strong relationship with those stakeholders. Now, किस तरह से आप ये relationship को strong कर सकते हो? You know, कभी कभी क्या होता है, आपके पास सोल्यूशन नहीं है, बट अगर आपने किसी का बात सुन लिया, उस बंदे को बहुत तसल्ली मिलता है. सो दैट्स व्हाई वी आर सेइंग दैट दैट इज द फर्स्ट थिंग दैट यू कैन डू, इज लिसन टू देयर वरीज. Just listen to their worries. So talk to your stakeholders and try to understand their worries and their concerns. Also, the second thing that you can do as a part of this establishing strong relationship is seek feedback. किस तरह का solution आपका company दे रहा है? What kind of solution you are giving to your customers? Take a feedback from them. When you take a feedback, you might be surprised to get certain answers that these are the areas of improvement. जो अगर आप पूछते नहीं थे, then possibly your stakeholders wouldn't have come to you and told you. And if they wouldn't have told you those issues, you would have never worked on a solution. So इसीलिए बहुत जरूरी होता है कि take that feedback regarding your products, your services, your solutions, whatever solution you're providing, depending on company to company, it can be different things, right? So that's what you are supposed to do to build a very, very strong relationship with your stakeholders. Point number 3, as a part of the strategy. The point number 3 as a part of the strategy is control the expectations. What do I mean when I say controlling the expectations? I mean that first thing that you need to do under this is एक ट्रस्ट बिल्ड कीजिए अपने स्टेक होल्डर के साथ. ट्रस्ट कैसे बिल्ड होता है? तो आपने कुछ कमिटमेंट किया, आपने उस कमिटमेंट को रखा, तो उससे ट्रस्ट बिल्ड होता है. एंड इन द प्रोसेस कभी इस तरह का कमिटमेंट मत कीजिए जो आप फुलफिल नहीं कर सकते हो. सो दैट्स व्हाई व्हाट आई से इज clearly define what can be done and what cannot be done. जब भी आप अपने स्टेक होल्डर्स के साथ बात करते हो, उनको कुछ कमिटमेंट करते हो, हवा में बात मत कीजिए. ऐसा कुछ कमिटमेंट मत कीजिए जो आपको भी डाउट है कि मेरे से हो पाएगा कि नहीं. So only commit that thing which you are 100% confident that you will be able to fulfill. If not, don't do that, because otherwise it's going to impact the trust in a big way. एंड जब ट्रस्ट ब्रेक होता है, देन रिलेशनशिप भी ब्रेक हो जाता है. एंड रिलेशनशिप अगर सही नहीं होता आपके स्टेक होल्डर के साथ, वेल यू आर नॉट मैनेजिंग योर स्टेक होल्डर्स प्रॉपर्ली. इट मे इम्पैक्ट heavily on your career. So be careful on that. That brings me to the fourth one, the fourth part of the strategy, which is you should be proactive, not reactive, and responsive to the requirements of your stakeholders. इसके अंडर में आपको क्या करने हैं? You need to anticipate. Now, when you are dealing with your stakeholders, suppose you are dealing with your customers, you need to know what can be the need and requirement of your customer. You need to be able to anticipate. And किस तरह का कंसर्न्स आ सकता है? आपने कोई नया प्रोडक्ट मार्केट में लॉन्च किया, you first of all need to know what could be the concerns with this new product that has been launched in the market. And you should be ready to give response to those concerns of your customers well in advance. Even before the customer comes to you and tells you their concern, you should be able to anticipate. By anticipating what you'll be doing, you'll become a proactive salesperson. So that's why anticipation is important. Under this, the second thing you need to keep in mind is respond quickly. Don't delay. अगर आपको मालूम है कि ये कंसर्न है, देन उसमें डिले मत कीजिए. एक पर्टिकुलर टाइमलाइन बोल दीजिए कस्टमर को कि आई विल कम बैक आफ्टर सो एंड सो डेट, सो एंड सो टाइम, and then come back as per that particular commitment quickly and also efficiently. Provide a efficient solution to your stakeholder. Now, when we are talking about the stakeholders, as you have already said, this is not only your customers, it can be other employees in the organization, it can be the suppliers, it can be the regulatory authorities, it can be anyone who gets impacted by the activity that you do in your organization and whatever activity your organization does for the society. Now, the fifth one, part of the strategy of managing your stakeholders for your own career growth, is collaborate and look for a win-win solution. Now, in the process, let me give example of a supplier. So supplier is one of the stakeholder that you deal with. Suppliers from whom you take the services, you buy the raw materials for your organization, for your manufacturing plant. You need to collaborate with the supplier. Now, supplier के साथ जब भी आप deal करते हो, don't go with the mindset कि supplier से profit लेना है, supplier को loss कराना है, मेरा profit बढ़ाना है. Don't go with that particular mindset. You will be destroying the relationship with your stakeholder. So the first thing that you need to understand the importance of that stakeholder in your organization's success. And obviously, it is also related to your own success in the organization. So try to be collaborative in the process. You may actually, if there are barriers that are coming between you and the supplier on cracking a proper deal, come up with certain solutions which will be win-win. It will be win for you, win for the supplier. And try to keep on discussing in the process of collaboration, keep on discussing with your supplier that can there be other solutions than whatever you are suggesting, because your solution seems to be very, very costly. Is there another way we can do it? I think that this can be another way of doing it. So that way you can become participative in the process and become more collaborative with your supplier. Also, what you should do, you should try to understand their perspective also, not only your perspective. In the stakeholder management, in maintaining better relationship, this is very important. And obviously, try to find out solutions which will benefit all the parties, not only you and your organization. So yes, these are the 5 strategies you can use to manage your stakeholders in a better way. And when your stakeholders you manage in a better way, I'm sure that will help you grow in your career quickly. Otherwise, it might be a difficult task. So just to repeat the 5 points that we discussed, the first one we talked about is identifying and prioritizing your stakeholders. The second one we talked about establishing a very strong relationship with your stakeholders. The third point we talked about control their expectations. The fourth point we talked about is be proactive and responsive for your stakeholder. And the fifth point we talked about is be collaborative and look into a win-win solution, not only a win-lose solution, right? So these are the 5 points I wanted to share with all of you. My best wishes are with all of you that you manage your stakeholders in the best possible manner, which will help you in your career progression, which will create better value for you in the organization. And when you become a valuable asset for the organization, it means that chances of your growth increases manifolds. So thank you for being here. Thank you for your presence. And as I say always, if you like this video, if you like this talk, please go ahead and share this with others so that someone else can also get benefited, right? And in case if you have comments or points to share, you can still put it on the comment section. Thank you so much for your presence here. We will come once again, hopefully by next Sunday at the same time with one more topic which is related to your career growth. Thank you so much. Good night. Take care. Bye-bye.